ongenzela eish
Manqaba mfethu ngiqalile ngiyastream.
senzela tu nenkhukhula la senzela tu nenkhukhula
Mhlawumbe kuvaselini. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pumelele Hadebe, and today it's the last day for ShareApp free course. So I'm hoping we are going to make the most of our time together count. So I would like to welcome you all on our occupational health and safety session. Today we will explore the importance of workplace safety and health. So occupational health and safety is about protecting workers' physical and mental well-being while we are ensuring a safe work environment. Oh, hi Zibuyile and hi Ayanda. Thank you so much for joining us. So the key topics that we usually focus on it's are the hazards we are dealing with. Basically, we are dealing with hazards, so we make sure that we focus on hazards now. But today, I want us to talk about inspections. So today, we are going to explore more on inspections. So before we do that, let us just recap what we have been studying for the past 3 days. Okay, so we were studying that as a SHREP, your duties are to identify the health and the hazards and make sure that everyone complies with the rules and regulations at the workplace. So, in terms of complying with the rules and regulations, they have to follow the protocols. We have to follow the protocols of which in those protocols we are also learning about incident investigation, hazard identification and risk assessment, health and safety responsibilities. We all know now that it is not only the duty of our she reps or our safety reps to make sure that we are safe. But according to Occupational Health and Safety Act, we are also responsible for our own health and safety. So those of you who have learned this thing, so as future workers, you I know that you will play the crucial role in maintaining a safe and health work environment. So we are going to learn more about. Okay, let us start in. I have this book here. Well, I'm going to share it on the screen, but it is also there on our LMS or portal for you to use it before you write. You can just go through this PDF and make sure that you learn a thing or two. Hi, Nebuhle Mdleje. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We are thrilled to have you here at Lucy Tech as our students. So let me not waste time because this is our last time together. So let me just share the screen so that it would be easy for me to talk about things that you understand. So you see here, this is my screen. So in my screen here, we have Youth Month Shereb free course from 2 to 6 June. Okay, so today is our last day. So we have dedicated the day for tomorrow to make sure you all are able to finish the exams. So we dedicated the 6th for the exams. Now, let us come to this book. It's a very nice book. So before we start learning, so let us just recap shortly on our definitions to make sure that we understand these few words because they pop up now and again on occupational health and safety. Now, first, it's the hazard. A hazard is a source of harm, substance, events, or circumstances that can cause the loss of life, poverty, or environment. So usually, I just define hazard as anything with the potential to cause harm because hazards are everywhere. Basically, all the objects that are there in front of you are the hazards and they pose a risk somehow. So it is up to you as a safety officer, as a sheriff, to be able to make sure that you can now identify the risk according to how much the damage or the harm it will pose. And then we come to the risk. A risk, it is a situation involving exposure to danger, the probability or the likelihood that the harm might occur. And then we have risk assessment. It is the process of identifying and risk factors that have the potential to cause harm, then determining the appropriate control measures to prevent them. So we did this risk assessment thing on Hira. I'm the one who was also presenting it, so I know that you for sure know this. Okay, safe working procedure. It's the method outlining how to perform a task with minimum risk to people, equipment, materials, environment, and processes. And then we have accidents, incident, and near miss. So you must listen carefully so that you will be able to understand the difference between those two because usually accident and incidents are usually used. People tend to not know when to use the correct term between accident and incident. So, an accident it's an undesirable or unfortunate happening that occurs unintentionally and usually results in harm, injury, damage, or loss of life. So, for example, if someone had a car crash, so that is an accident, whether they lost their lives or they were permanently disabled or anything. So that is an accident. So we know what is an accident. And then in terms of incidents, it's an instance of something happening. So when we talk about an incident, the incident might lead to harm or it might not. So it is something that happened, and then when you report it as an incident. And then let's come to near miss. It's an incident where no injury or illness occurs. So the near miss and incident, they relate. Now let us come to inspections. So, inspections, it's the process of checking something, examining and assessing its conditions according to the given standards. So, I hope we understand this inspection term because today we will be mostly on inspection. So we can also say the inspection is usually the same as the risk assessment. Remember, we said we had three types of risk assessment. Number one, we have the baseline risk assessment, and then we have the issue baseline risk assessment and the continuous risk assessment. So, in terms of a baseline risk assessment, so it is where you are it is where you are reporting the incident. It is where you are inspecting the workplace. You are literally doing this like it's the spring cleaning when you're doing the spring cleaning at home. So the baseline, you check everything, every activities that are performed at work. So we make sure that we check everything on the baseline. So usually, as a safety officer or as a sheriff on your first day, there you have to show them that you learned all these things, and then you do your own baseline because you cannot rely on things by the previous sheriff. So you must also have your own facts, because whatever information you gather there, you make sure that it is facts. We do not report something that is not true. And then on the issue baseline risk assessment, so usually it happens when we have purchased a new machinery at workplace. So now we make sure that we do not inspect anything but that specific machinery or that specific area at work. So when we do an issue baseline risk assessment, you focus, you do not do the whole. Then, in terms of the continuous, something that you do every day, every day when you go there, um, we can see the safety officers on the questions, because usually they form a circle doing the toolbox talks. So they usually inspect even the uniform if it is worn correctly and if it's still in a good condition, especially the gloves, because they often change them now and again. So that is the continuous risk assessment. Also, people from construction or anywhere, they know who or individuals who are using step ladders when they are working. So they know that even after you have stepped down your ladder, you went for lunch or you went to the restroom, when you come back, the step ladder should be inspected in case when you drop it down, the screws became loose. So we must make sure that the screws are all still um, intact. Now, let us read about unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. So, the unsafe act, it is to operate a machine without a permission. So, you cannot say, I know how to. You cannot be probably you are a truck driver at work, but now you want to operate an excavator or you want to operate a TLP because you assume that you can, because those things are moving machines. No, you cannot. You do not operate things without a permission or supervision. Crossing a flooded river, we all know this, that even when there are floods, there are going to be floods, we are always warned, because we should make sure even the kids do not go to school because the river will be flowing, so we can't. And then driving at a high speed, So these are examples of unsafe act. We do not drive at a high speed. We know that 60 kilometer usually is the right 60 kilometer, and 120 usually it's the right speed limit. So you do not drive above that without being permitted. Sometimes we are permitted by the traffic policies, or sometimes it depends on the nature of the job, because we've never seen an ambulance are going at 60. They always rush because they have to save lives. Smoking, non-smoking area, so this is also a serious offense. Usually, even on restaurants, they they have the smoking area where all the people who are smoking, they might sit there and dine in peace without affecting without their cigarettes affecting the other customers sitting down. Like, so here at Fred on our Wimby, that we have that place, a smoking area. Also at Spare, we have a private place where smoking individual, they usually sit there. So on restaurants, sometimes on bars, on smart bars, they usually say that they do not even allow the Viper. They do not even the Viper. They do not even allow the Viper those flavors, because somehow they damage other people. They affect other people. For instance, I hate those flavors. I literally poke because their smell annoys me to the core. Now, okay, using defective equipment. Climbing a high building without safety equipment, you cannot make yourself a Spider-Man or a Superman because you want to impress your boss. No. Also, taking shortcuts, it's a no. As much as taking shortcuts facilitates your period of whatever activity you are doing, or you meet your deadline, but we do not take shortcuts because there will be consequences. And then, so the unsafe conditions, it's defective tools, area with too much noise, a work area with clear, lack of signage, faded signs, inadequate ventilation, a car without brakes. So, guys, I do not need to explain these things. They are simple, they explain themselves. Now, let us come to control measures. How do we control those things? In order to ensure the identified hazard does not result in accidents, certain actions need to be taken. These actions are called control measures. So we have these control measures on occupational health and safety. Now we eliminate, so to eliminating the hazard is ranked as the most effective, because if we eliminate something, we substitute it with something new or something better. We do not just eliminate something. So, for example, here at Lucitech, like, we cannot say, let us remove the plastic chairs that the students sit on because they are not safe, so the students will learn while standing up. No, if we are to eliminate them completely, so we eliminate them and substitute them with something nicer, something safe, something more comfortable. So when we eliminate it, we substitute it. So it's elimination and substitute. So we can substitute the chairs with what? Probably with the couch or the benches or the desk, to make sure that we also make sure that we buy the quality. It's not about the quantity, but also the quality, because we cannot be buying things now and again. You have failed as a sheriff because you are there to improve the productivity, the production and reduce cost. So now, when you are spending more money buying unnecessary things, remember now you are now failing your duties as a sheriff. Transfer, get someone to deal with the hazard or move to another place. Treat the hazard by putting measures to lessen the effect of the risk. Tolerate the hazard and manage it as far as possible. Other hazard can be tolerated only if you can control them. But if you cannot control them, you make sure you eliminate it. So elimination is the best, is usually ranked as the best control measure before you substitute and engineer control, and then you use administrative measures, and lastly it's the PPE. So elimination is the best, PPE always comes the last. And then we also learned about the hazards, that we have six hazards. We have safety hazards, we have biological hazards, chemical hazards, psychological hazards, economic hazards, and physical hazards. So I taught you this on Tuesday. So we all know these types of hazards. Now let us move to our, yes, this one is very important. This is our most important topic for today. So I just wanted us to recap on what you have learned with me to make sure it is easier for you to understand this. Now we have to talk about health and safety inspections, guys. This one is most important. So it is most important. Now, I want us to look at what is the inspector first before we look at what is inspection. So, the inspector is a professional responsible for examining, evaluating, and enforcing the compliance with regulations, standards, or laws in various fields. So remember, we were talking about the the occupational, or the main core of occupational health and safety. It is to make sure that we follow the regulations. Remember, even on when you are revamping the health and safety policy of the workplace, or you are studying it from the fresh, those clauses that you put there are the things that are there on your occupational health and safety regulations or act. So those, the main purpose of the safety policy, it is to make sure that people can listen to you, because we know that some other people cannot listen to a woman because they are the men. So this is to make sure you protect yourself, if someone has harmed themselves due to negligence. So you make sure that when you go to the court, you provide your policy, that according to my policy, this person was not supposed to be at the site not wearing the full PPE. That is why they died. They died due to their negligence. Remember, we said the safety policy, we make everyone aware of it. So we put it everywhere. We put it somewhere where everyone will have the access to it. Not saying they do not know anything about the health and safety policy. So now the inspector, it is someone who comes to make the inspections and make sure that you follow those health and safety regulations or the act. So those people they make sure that they enforce the compliance between you and them, between the workplaces. So they make sure that the workplace is safe. Those inspectors, they are there to ensure workplace meets health and safety standards. Building the construction, inspectors, they verify the building codes, zoning regulations, and safety standards. That is why sometimes you find out that they were building a mall. It's probably, they estimated that the mall will take a year and a half to complete, but only to find out that now it is taking 5 years because people are not compliant. Probably they are not hiring people who are trained enough. So the occupational health and safety make sure inspectors they make sure that um, they verify the building codes, zoning regulations, and safety standards. They make sure that they follow the safety standards. And then, in terms of environmental protection, so the inspectors they monitor compliance with environmental regulations. Remember, you are not only responsible for the safety of the workers in the workplace, but for the community as well. So, when we speak of the environment protection, we are talking about the community as well. We are talking about the surroundings who are staying off where the business is situated. We are talking about the rivers and all those things. So remember, if we are remember when you first start a business idea, let's say you are producing a chemical, some sort of a hazard or toxic substance in the workplace. So you should make sure that wherever the waste goes, it does not reach to the environment, it does not reach to the community, it does not reach to the river, because most people use the water from the streams, water from the flowing rivers, only to find out that that water is contaminated. Even the air that the community is breathing, it is now contaminated with those toxic substances. So the Department of Labor also make sure that they enforce the environmental protection, that you should protect the community as well. You should protect the livestock as well, because you cannot say, okay, people are going to buy water from wherever water is sold. What about their crops? They grow crops using that water that you contaminate with those chemicals. Their cows, they drink from those streams. All their animals actually they drink from their streams. So now you are killing even the kids. We know that the kids love swimming on the open river or the dams. Now you're also going to because you're going to what's this word, if the kids are swimming there, sometimes they might end up having rashes, skin problems, because the water is now contaminated with harmful chemicals. So we make sure that we protect our. So those are the hazards, environmental hazards actually. So they make sure that we protect the environment as well. Even the air that we breathe, the oxygen. We cannot live somewhere where the oxygen is not okay. We've seen people who are living probably in Bumalanga or other provinces where they have mines. So during the blasting, they are always affected because the environment now becomes affected. If they blast the sand. Sand is part of the environment, so also the surroundings will be affected. And then for quality control, so they examine the products. They examine the product to make sure that it's quality. It's quality. Remember, we have quality and quantity, so we should they ensure the quality. And then, so what do inspectors does actually? So they conduct the site visits and inspections. So they come and visit whatever site and do the thorough inspection. So the inspections are also the same as the risk assessment. And then they also identify the hazards, guys. They also help to identify the hazards that you might have missed. So they also identify the hazards or things that you are not complying on according to occupational health and safety. They provide the guidance if they have to guide you somewhere. I remember this one time I was working at the restaurant, so we had those e-learning certificates from, I don't know what's, I don't remember the name of this platform, but it was something done for free on this other platform. It's always there actually. So we did them only to find out that there were no credits, and the owners of the restaurant I was working on, they did not pay for the they did not want to pay for our training actually. So we made a plan to get those certificates so that someone will be a first aider and will also have the fire marshal. Because when you are working at the restaurant, remember we are working with with oil, we are working with gases, we are working with electricity, so there are too much hazards involved. So when we were working there, um, also when the inspector came, so he made sure to recommend the best schools around Riot the to learn the first aid and also to learn the basic firefighter. So he also recommended the Lusatec. So that is how I got to know them because now the owners were now forced. They now forced to take us to training so that we can get proper certifications with credits. And then the Department of Labor inspectors, they also issue out warnings. So they warn you that please fix this. Please take these people to training. I will come back probably after a month to review if you have improved because you were lacking there. You see, now those trainings usually take 2 days, 3 days. So they were giving us enough time to make sure that they arrange the training for us. And then they came back to check if we were now have the proper certification with credit and we were trained proper enough. And then they also issue warnings, guys. They issue the warnings. Make sure they issue the warnings. The fines. Remember, we did learn about this on the act when we were learning about the act. Yes. So in terms of fines, it's either you are fined 50,000 rands for not complying with the regulations, or you face 1 year imprisonment. So the reliable person gets 1 year to prison. And then in terms of and sometimes it might be worse that if they find out that we were not complying at all with occupational health and safety. We do not even know what is occupational health and safety. So they make sure they close down the business until you fix all your proper paperwork, take people to training, give them the correct PPE and all that. So they were also, oh, in my previous workplace, they were also warned that they should not be deducting money from our training, our training, and also for giving us the correct PPE to use because we were using harmful chemicals. So the inspections, it says they are performed according to workplace procedures and schedules and are documented as required. Respond inspectors, okay, they respond to what if and why questions covering safety and environmental inspections. So now let us talk about the workplace safety and environmental inspections. Says here, inspection is one of the critical elements of applying health and safety in the workplace. This is done the conducting detailed examination which might be of the tools or equipment before they can even be used. So, in terms of doing the inspection, so okay, if we are just doing our own inspections at work, remember, inspections are different. So, basically, they are also referring to the risk assessments. Because if you are doing the risk assessment, identifying it's also part of the inspection. Now, here they say if we to conduct a detailed examination, so we do the baseline inspection. We said when we spoke about the baseline, it is where we are doing a thorough checkup on the workplace, all the activities, all the individuals. So it's a thorough thing. And then the section 18 of the Act makes it an obligation to the sheriff that he or she must do an inspection in the workplace, including any article, substance, plant, or machinery. So, according to Section 18 of Occupational Health and Safety Act, or 85 of 1993, the sheriff is responsible to do the inspection in the workplace. So they inspect everything, including the articles, the substances being used, the plants, if we are using the plants, or the machinery or the equipment. So we conduct, the sheriff we conduct thorough inspection in the workplace to ensure that everyone is safe. The employer is obliged to provide employees with a safe and working environment. So this is standard, guys. This is standard. So the aim of studying the aim of having occupational health and safety to protect us, it is to ensure that the employer provide employees with a safe and healthy working conditions. To know how safe and healthy or not working conditions are, he or she needs to constantly monitor performance against health and safety standards and procedures as prescribed by the law and the company policy. So, in order to determine that it is safe enough in this particular department or in this workplace, so we need to constantly monitor the performance against health and safety standards. We need to see how likely people are having near misses, how likely people are having to have incidents, how likely are the accidents, so that help us to know that we are safe enough because we have less incidents, less accidents, and less near misses. And then this is achieved by conducting the regular safety inspections in the workplace and recording the results of the off. So when we've done the inspection this week, so let's say you are doing weekly inspections, and then you see that the standard remains the same and you are happy. Now you know that the employees are also safe and healthy. So we like to keep it that way. Keep on monitoring your progress. So the other factors that we need to consider in terms of inspection is that as tools and equipment get old, they get worn out or damaged. These can be very dangerous if they are not repaired or replaced. Remember, we know that by the standard procedure, the cars get only inspected or serviced once a year. But if you can feel that the brakes are not working properly or the lights are not bright enough, so we make sure that we take that car for another inspection, irregardless if it's not the time yet, because we are trying to keep people safe, because no one can drive at night with a car that cannot brighten the lights or dim the right, or have the left light not working, or all the lights are not working because you say you are waiting for the service. Materials, equipment, and procedures constantly change, and ignoring such changes can jeopardize people's health. So, I remember I made this one example that during all the times our grandparents were using the hand saws and the axes when they were cutting down the logs or the wood. So it's changed when they invented the power tools. So they were using the hand saw and the axe, of which are hand tools, of which a hand tools is, but now they invented the power tools. Now they so you should also adapt to the change. You should also adapt to the change and train people more. Okay, for example, chicken licken. So I we all on the restaurant I was working on, we're working close to chicken licken. So chicken licken, they do not use the knife to cut down the cabbage when they are making the coleslaws, of which we at our restaurant we were using the knife to cut down the cabbage for coleslaw. So they were using this wonderful machine. You just put the whole cabbage after cutting it into two pieces. You put the half and then you blend. You put the other half and then you also blend. And then it's done. You see, it is effective. It is fast. It wastes no time. So also people need to adapt to that, and we also adapted to that, and then we bought the machine. Even on coffee, people no longer make coffee with the kettles and put this. No, they use certain machines to make nice cappuccinos. So we learn every day and adapt with the change constantly. Let me stop sharing a bit. I need to ask something. Is anyone have a question with what I've been teaching? Makuzwayo Sanea, I can see your question. Unfortunately, I can't reply to that, so I'm asking questions related to this. We will discuss that. They did make the announcement on the group about all those things. So make sure you go back to WhatsApp and see these things. They even extended the time because the network was also bad. So yeah, that's your question is irrelevant on what I'm teaching today. So I would need relevant questions. So if anyone does not have a question, let me just continue with my lesson. Let me present my screen again. Okay, in terms of we said lack of the necessary skills to perform a certain job can cause the injury. Regular safety inspection will help to expose possible training needs. Guys, do you know that every job requires training? You can think that someone's job is stupid, is irrelevant because it's probably requires someone with grade 9, of which it is not. It is not. We take things lightly in a way that we are ignorant. Let me talk about cleaners. So when you are employed as a cleaner, maybe you are cleaning the shopping center, you are cleaning the shop. Remember those environments or the hospital, the clinic. So there are a lot of people there and they come in anytime. Sometimes it's 24 hours. So the first thing that they teach the cleaners on their training is that before you start mopping or anything, put on the caution sign so that people are going to be aware that if we have this yellow sign, it is also written that the floor is wet, so they will be cautious. So so everyone requires training, no matter how insignificant we think the job is. So the cleaners, they also go to training. They train them that we need to put the caution sign because there are a lot of people and there are kids running around the mall. So they might slip, trip, and fall because of the wet floor. So the caution sign is very big. So they will be aware and it should be written on clear languages, something that we all can understand. So if you lack the necessary skills to perform a simple job as cleaning, in when they are doing inspections, they will also help to determine that these people need proper training in terms of cleaning. So here it says safety inspections may vary in purpose from the routine maintenance inspection to inspection after a major incident like fire or aircraft. So this is a fact that when there was an incident, when someone died, so the inspections that you conduct there, they are different. For example, someone was injured at the site, the inspections is simple if it does not if the person was not hospitalized or anything. But if the person died or suffered serious injuries resulting into permanent disability. So, though remember, now it's not only you conducting the inspection, but also the the inspectors from labor. They do their own inspections to determine if it was the employer's fault or the person was negligent. Also, the police they come the now. Let us read about the purpose of inspections. So the purpose of inspections. So the state proposes that the inspection must be done so that number one, to identify the potential hazards. Two, to establish the cause of injuries, death, occupational diseases, property damage, and pollution. So I don't think I need to explain this. It's very clear to record all of the above mentioned information and report to the appropriate authorities in the required format, to provide information at meetings where safety, health, and environmental protection matters are discussed, to make information available about for research purposes, also to assist in the evaluation of SHE policy and procedures, including the completion of all registers, records, schedules, and a tracer by law. So those are very clear, guys. Those were the purpose of why is the inspection a necessity in the workplace, because um last year and this year, the kids were getting sick at schools because they were consuming those chips of which were bought on on those other people's shops, on the foreigners' shops. So they inspected and find out those things are actually poisoned by these people. So now, if these things are poisoned, what do the inspectors say to the schools, to the principals? So they told them that they should cease this trading process immediately. So if someone wants, even on other school, now if you want to continue to trade, you must provide the receipts that all your products are bought from our South African local supermarket or retailers, biggest retailers. So you should provide proof that your products are bought or at game at Macro, at Shoprite, at Pick and Pay, Checkers, Boxer, at Tracer. So those they because they know that those shops, those retailers, they comply with the regulations. They go there and inspect them now and again. So that is how our kids became safe. So now what happens to the information? Okay. All right, to provide information at meetings where safety, health, and environmental protection matters are discussed. Usually, I make it a note that if ever I receive a notification that Department of Labor has the seminar or has the certain conference on occupational health and safety meetings, or they talk about construction or what, anything related to safety, I make sure to share it to our students so that they will always stay informed, because these are things that they talk about. They talk about all those things that they find when they are doing in inspections. So I share them so that I listen and share them so that we'll all be observant. Um, to make information available for research purposes. So, in terms of research, so the information should be available on internet, on Wikipedia, or every site that we use. Also, to assist in the evaluation of the ship policy and procedures, including the completion of all registers, records, schedules required by the law. So they make sure that we follow the policy and the standard procedures of the law. So, from the information contained in reports of inspections, the employer will be able to formulate the corrective or remedial actions. So, when they are telling you that you need to take your staff to training, sometimes when they are done doing the inspection, usually they take probably a week to come back with the feedback on where to where to fix whatever thing that you lack on the workplace. So the benefits of regular safety inspections. The employees will feel that their safety is important to the employer. This will establish trust in and goodwill towards the employer. So, if we are doing the inspection now and again, we are observant. We know what our employees lacked, and we purchase those things. So the employees will feel that their safety is also important to the employer. Regular inspections bring safer working conditions and processes with less time lost to incidents, resulting in higher productivity, which increase profits made. So when we are doing inspections now and again, we are able to make sure that the incidents, the near misses, and accident, they are less, of which it results in higher productivities and increase the profits that are made. Sometimes you can end up having also increase on your salaries because there are no unnecessary costs. Savings to the employer by decreasing time lost due to incidents, not only the cost of the incident, property damage, but the time to complete the investigation, subsequent reporting thereon. Some cases may end up in court and can cost the employer a lot of money if he or she is found guilty in the negligent. So remember, we are always trying to avoid unnecessary unnecessary what we are always trying to avoid unnecessary cost. For example, if someone is injured at the workplace and it is not due to their negligence, it is due to the machine failing or anything, the the employer, they must pay for the medical bills. And if the person is unable to work or they lost a limb, remember now it is the duty of the employer to make sure that they cover their expenses and they take them to the early requirement pension. So money is lost in the. So, guys, please continue reading this book. It's very informative. If anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. Do you guys have any questions? Please ask so that we'll all be in the same page. So, this was our last day of attending this session for fresh rep, but the recording will still be saved here if you want to go back and study it. So it will be available here on YouTube, so you can make use of it. Now, in terms of now, please write your assessments. Uh, Mawesi, how do we access the exams? It's very easy. Now, it's very easy when you go to your LMS and then there are three slides. There are three slides here on your left. So you click there and then it's going to show that this is assignment one, assignment two, assignment four. Sometimes they are written KQC one, KQC two, especially on Hira, it is written like that. So that is where you're going to get your exam. And then quality, where can we get that PDF? Okay, this PDF, let me show you a bit. I'm going to share the screen again so you can see it there on your LMS. So this is my LMS. I've also downloaded this document. So I'm just going to click go back. Okay. Now this is the document. It's like this if you want to find it. So it's something like this. And then here, there is here. So this is your course, your shared course. It's the announcement. It's the also other two documents. This one is about act, and then this one is it's also about act. So they are made easier for you to understand. And then this is the study guide that I was projecting. So here is where you are going to find your study guide. So anyone with another question? Okay, so no one has a question. So please make sure you write your assessment. We also have the calendar on the dashboard. So this calendar, it shows us when are the deadlines. So it shows the deadlines. Let me try and show you it. So it's supposed to be on dashboard. So this is your dashboard looks like this, and then when you scroll down, this is the calendar. So all these events are highlighted on red and green. So this is where you know that which assignment is ending, which assignment is opening. So mine is a bit tricky because uh, there are also other courses on my dashboard that I'm currently attending. So, if no one has a question now, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for so much for studying inclusive tech. So, yeah, we'll see you some other time, probably with graduation. Bye.